Good afternoon to you all. Welcome back to yet another session in which we are going to talk about the recently launched program that is aimed at youth skilling. With me here today, I have one who is not new to this. If any of you was here for the launch, you're very much familiar with Bryan Ssenoga, but nonetheless, I'll introduce him for those that are joining us today. Bryan Ssenoga is a developer himself, and he's the team lead for Ubunifu Systems, the company that is going to support us in implementing this project. And then with me again, I have Bryan Mbasa, who is the senior manager for the MTN Foundation, under which the CSR under which MTN is going to implement this project. And those of us who are just joining us today, maybe to give you a little bit of background, MTN has launched a program that is aimed at skilling youth, and the purpose of it is to give them skills that will enable you to define ICT solutions that will address some of the community challenges that we are facing right now. So without me going so much into details, this is the reason why Bryan Ssenoga and Bryan Mbasa are here to give us a little bit of more detail to help you with one, understanding what the program is about, who it is targeted for, how you can be part of this amazing yet program that is coming from you from MTN. I'll start with Bryan Mbasa. This program is being launched under the MTN Foundation. Maybe you can just give us a little bit overview of what the MTN Foundation is about, and when was it formed, what are some of the pillars, what is its purpose? So yes, Bryan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rhona. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. Rhona, you pose a very good question, because it has been noticed that the majority of the people know, of course, about MTN Uganda as the commercial arm and what it does and the connectivity it has done over the last 20 years. Not very many people know about the MTN Foundation. And so just to give a background of what the foundation is, the foundation is the arm of MTN Uganda that implements community and social investment. So basically, we are a vehicle through which MTN transforms communities, transforms lives, and of course, contributes towards the development of Uganda. We were formed in 2007, and one of the driving factors towards getting MTN to have a foundation was on the basis that there's a lot that is being done. There was a lot that was being done by MTN from 1998. However, there was a lack of consolidation to be able to have a single track mind towards implementing for community development, vis-a-vis looking at it from a brand or a commercial perspective. And so it was agreed that 1% of profit after tax on an annual basis is then put aside towards a fund or a foundation that can then seek out how to support the community. And so the foundation does exist with a single-mindedness and the single objective of transforming Uganda. Most brands would say CSR is giving back to our subscribers, but the foundation looks beyond our subscribers or the MTN subscribers. It looks at all Ugandans in general, and we want to make sure that as MTN, as a company develops, we move together as a country, but also as individuals to change and transform those lives, basically make their lives or make the lives of everyone brighter here in Uganda.
Okay, thank you so much, Bryan, about that. I've actually had the MTN CEO talk about the CSR for the organization, in which he's mentioned that MTN does CSR not just because it's a good thing to do, but developing the community within which you operate ensures that even you as a company are able to develop. So it's a win-win situation. You can't be in a place where the community is not developed and you think you will grow. It's an ecosystem. It's a give and take kind of way. Yeah.
And there's the term which is more coming to life, especially here in Uganda, which is called sustainability. For the longest time, you've had the UN talk about sustainability development goals. And the idea behind it is that you can't really single-handedly develop unless you look at all the contributing factors towards the development. Now, as a commercial entity, MTN can continue to be commercially viable until a certain time when there's no sustainability, because at that point then the people or your subscribers or the people that you hope to be on your network or to benefit from your solutions may not be able to afford. So for us, the idea of then ensuring that you move together with the community that you live in and with the country that you are based in is very, very crucial, and it's a founding principle at MTN.
Okay, so you've touched on the sustainability goals. Those are broad. I just want to understand, and this is a case from even various organizations. What are some of the areas that the MTN Foundation specifically addresses? Because I'm very certain you can't address every problem in the world. So what are some of the areas that the MTN Foundation addresses? How do you choose those areas? And give us a little bit of insight into the why of that.
Okay. MTN, well, the best part about MTN and the foundation is that we exist in 21 operations. Currently, MTN is considered one of the biggest and most successful brands in Africa. What that means is that there's an unwritten responsibility that MTN has towards Africa as a whole in the big scheme of things. So what then happens is then you have learnings from the different operations wherever they are. You look at Africa as Africa and you try to say, what are the Africa areas that we should aim at developing? Now, when you then take that in scope and you relate it to what the UN is doing, I always talk about not reinventing the wheel, but looking at the research that has been done. So once you look at what the UN sustainability goals are driving towards, and then you look at what African challenges or what challenges we face in Africa, they tend to relate very well. And so then after we look in depth and say, what should we focus on since we can't touch everything? And so that is how we come up with the pillars that we support. Since 2012, the pillars haven't really changed because you seem to have the challenges are similar and the challenges don't seem to go away. However, we are working towards ensuring that they're covered. The first key one is education. Education is very important. What people are learning, if they have access to environment to be able to learn, if they have the content to actually study, or they're exposed to this learning material, so that we can then bridge that gap between the people who are educated and who are not educated. So that is one of the pillars that we're looking at. Then we have health, and health is very crucial, especially mother and child healthcare. And over the years, we have done a lot in this space, but it doesn't stop there. We also look at the communities. We look at men issues as well. So health is also very, very crucial. We have a pillar which came in about a year ago. And the reason why it came in is because it became one of the biggest issues that is being discussed right now. It is a fact. We can bury our heads in the sand. The fact of the matter is that the youth element of Africa is very, very crucial, especially in Uganda, and I think Uganda takes the icing here. We discovered that it's the second youngest country in the world. So when you cannot talk about anything else, not just in Uganda but Africa, without addressing the youth aspect. So the jobs are reducing, the innovation is growing. Africa is becoming the new frontier for development and innovation. So definitely the youth element is very crucial. And so we took it on and we decided that we will focus on youth empowerment in a big way. The last element, which is more of towards humanitarian aid, is basically then to look at the circumstances which keep cropping up, which come up as and when they do happen. The question becomes, how do we then support the countries? How do we support the communities? How do we support the individuals who are affected by these disasters. So that is what we would call national priority areas, which then have the disaster element, but also over and above the disasters, we have some key elements from the National Development Plan, things like agriculture, things like tourism. They may not necessarily be within the SDGs, but there are areas which are important to Uganda as a country, and so we look at those under the national priority areas. Yes, I don't know, Ron, are you still there?
Bryan, I find this a very interesting part of the conversation. I think that one of the things that this program does is it brings the foundation into a scenario that is partnering on a youth agenda with Ubunifu, which is a technology company. So allow me just for a moment to just step in and share about our own story and why this work feels important to us. I think as a homegrown company, as a local software development company, we live in this economy. We see the challenge around developing solutions work. My friends like to joke that in Uganda, when you build a company, you also go ahead and build the entire value ecosystem in which that company will work, because those things are actually not there. And many young people struggle with this. And I think as Ubunifu, 9 years now in this very economy, we've experienced this journey. We've walked this journey, starting out as a vision, as a young person wanting to do exciting things, and at the same time recognizing that there's taxes, is my solution working? Is my thing just good enough to be part of an innovation challenge or innovation bootcamp? Or am I really building a thing that's going to develop and become a real solution? And I think this is part of what young people are struggling with. Like, we keep talking about this young nation that has potential to grow. But I think on the street, the reality is my idea good enough? Can my idea get validated? Like, do people really see me when they see the idea? And that's just some of the altruistic feelings. But there's also the other side of it. Like, will I actually make money? Like, these are valid questions for our nation. And every time I see work like this work that we're starting together, I keep thinking about some of those most basic and valid questions that young people have. And I think we have to answer those questions. This program has got to be able to answer those questions so that we can truly show that we're not just creating another program to train and skill young people. We're truly bringing the expertise and experience of MTN across the whole continent. I think recently we celebrated 20 years in this market. It's time to bring that to the table and say, look, we can bring all this knowledge and experience and make it work for our young people. And I think for me, that's the most exciting part about a local developer company partnering with a huge brand like MTN, and together developing this program and delivering it to our young people.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bryan, Ssenoga, on that. And I want to recognize some of the guests that are coming through in terms of their comments. We have here Jamil, who is thanking MTN for this program. Jamil, MTN is excited to be, looking out for youth and growing them because they're very integral for, the development of Uganda. And then we have Aston. He's asking about the requirements. Aston, we're asking that you be a bit patient with us. That's why we're here. We're going to dive into that briefly. And then also, as well as we have a Michael who is saying, I have a COVID contact app that I created, and I want to integrate it with SMS capability of updates. How can you guys take this in collaboration? So I'm thinking this is something for you, Bryan. Ssenoga, you'll get to tell how we can help him with his COVID contact app in lieu for what the program is about. Yeah.
Jamil, thanks for your comment. I think a COVID contact app is definitely one of those things that we need. Going back to what Mbasa has shared, the foundation has for us the priority for health, the priority for education and for agriculture. And so we will definitely look at how our community can benefit from these solutions. But I think I want to just go back a little bit and marry the idea of this program with why MTN. MTN is the biggest digital company in the country right now. I think so much experience, so much exposure, and it only felt right that we put the best foot forward. And so this program aims to skill and equip young people. But I think undoubtedly the one thing that MTN through the foundation has capacity to give is access and resources to digital. And this question of digital for good, we've always thought about digital only in the sense of my mobile phone, what I can do to pay, how I can do. There's so much that we can do with a good smartphone, with a good connection, with cheap rates to access to data and services. But I think the foundation moves all of us into a new dimension. And it says, look, guys, we want to serve the community in which we live. Can we bring the intersection of digital and this value system that we hold dear about serving the community, and we bring those two things together? So you can see how Jamil's COVID contact app is the perfect idea to thrive in a program like this. And I look forward to Jamil. I hope that you have applied to the program, and I really, really look forward to incubating ideas like this and giving them the support they need for them to thrive and come through as real solutions for our community.
Thank you so much, Bryan. I want us to now give a little bit more detail into the process of application, because I think that's what the majority are. They're inspired, they're excited, they're thinking, okay, what is it that I need on my side, to jump right into that kind of process. But I'm going to go to Bryan Mbasa, if in terms of just to get a bit of understanding, the MTN vision, because this is a vision for MTN. You sat down, thought about what is it, the one thing that we can do that speaks to the organization that can work for the community. I want to get a feel from you, Mbasa, of what kind of person are you looking at? What should they embody in terms of character? What should they embody in terms of, if I ask you who is the person that MTN was envisioning when they launched this program, what kind of youth are they looking to call onto the table?
Well, the youth is quite a very broad group, as we all know, and so you, as much as you want to then get in and help everyone, you have to get a little bit more specific about what kind of person you're looking at. And so this, truly said, is something that we had to put a lot of thought into. Apart from the age groups categories of saying that they should be between 25 to 30, 35, apart from just the age elements, what we're looking at is a person who has an idea. That idea is looking at the ecosystem fully, not looking at themselves as individuals to say, me, myself, and I want to grow and do great things. However, we're looking at a person who creates something that affects the community they live in, that puts their community in a better place than they are right now. that enables availability of job opportunities for other youth, and something that is going to transform not just that's the community alone, but the whole entire nation. So we're trying to look at people who have dreams that are going to move this nation forward, one community at a time. At the beginning, it may not necessarily, it may look like it's unachievable, but I think that the person who has a mindset, who is looking at the long term and is saying that let me start small, but that small is going to change my community, is going to change the way people perceive things or the way people transact, the way people consider health. I mean, when you talk about that application for COVID, that is a person who's looking at a communal perspective of how does, you're seeing people dying and you're saying, how can I be part of reducing on the pain that is happening and ensuring that people don't fall sick. I think for me that's a mindset that points to someone who cares about the community and who cares about the country. But at the end of the day, and I think that's something that Bryan probably touched before, those things at the beginning, usually people fear that it seems to be for free. How do I make money out of it? But I can almost guarantee you that such initiatives always in the end have a return that is even bigger than the person who is just going to think entrepreneurial and just directly about themselves, because it is sustainable once the ecosystem is involved. So the kind of person is that person who has a dream, who has determined what their dream is, who's willing to go after their dream, and who has a background. There's something that we've been asking for reference letters, because we want to understand that there's some history or you have some background of actually trying to make difference with the little that you have or where you are at this point in time. So we want someone who can then say, this person is moving in the right direction and we can definitely put all the support behind him to change Uganda.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that. What I'm picking from this, because I think one of the requirements for the program is an essay about yourself and a reference later. And we've been getting a lot of questions online about this, and this kind of breaks it down that it's not about your accolades. Yes, you could have achieved all A, B, C, D, F, and G, or have all these levels of certification and everything, but we are looking more for character. Do you have a heart for community? You have a heart for solving problems. You have a heart for being innovative to find solutions. So this kind of clarifies on that. Thank you so much, Bryan. So Ssenoga, I want if you can take me through the step-by-step process of what this person who has applied for this program should expect. That up today I've put in my application, what would be the step-by-step process in terms of their expectation? And if you can give me a little bit of detail under each of the steps as well.
Thanks, Rhona. And I imagine that for many of our listeners, this would be an important question. So we're currently accepting applications up to the 22nd of this month. And then we'll go through all of the applications. I'm happy to share we currently have 639 applications. And I would really, really like to see more women apply. We have about only a third of those as women. We'd like to see more of these applications come. So please do apply. We'll go through selection for the program up to about the first week of January 2021. By 15th Jan, we will be done with the selection. So we'll be able to notify our first 100 participants who've been accepted into the cohort. And so the very first program that every participant who's been accepted is going to participate in is the International Computer Driver's License. We have already secured 100 vouchers for you to sit online and complete a world-recognized Computer Foundation certificate. This will be about 2 months. We anticipate that participants come from different parts of the country and might have different learning paces. So we've spaced this out and made sure that you have every opportunity to attend the program and do it well. In the meantime, we have facilitators who are preparing, I think, one of the most exciting integrated curriculums. We have sessions that will be online to cover entrepreneurial skills, finance, legal and taxation, project management, customer experience, leadership and teams, product management, business analytics. All this is in this bucket that we're calling our technical skills. So this program, and the reason why this particular phase is important is because we feel very strongly, and the foundation is committed to skills that facilitate your transition from school to work. And so this is important. Even if you do not continue on to the incubation stage of this program, we still are committed to your skilling and your development with practical skills that you can take into any workplace, any profession, and you will still be a better person. In the same time in which we will be doing this, this is around March to about May, we have already planned for 4 days where we will interact with experts in the areas of agriculture, health, education, technology, and overall the national priority of youth empowerment. We're spending a day with these people, and we really want to hear from the experts and to understand if we are committed to solving the problems of our community using digital, what do the experts tell us are the pain points in the areas? And that's going to inform how we will begin to think about where do I want to solve? What's the most pressing need that I want to solve? So on your application, you will be able to choose which of these program areas is of most interest to you, because we're going to tailor some of your learning to match that. Somewhere in the month of June, we will give all participants an opportunity to form a team, pick an idea, and submit a new application, this time as a team, that you want us to add significantly more support. So this is the incubation stage. We're creating a program for 100 days, up to 3 months. We will deep dive with you into this idea. That idea could be like our friend, I want to get your name right, Michael, who has the COVID contact app. That's an idea that we can now take into that incubation. But we know that Michael may not be able to pull this off alone. So we want Michael to see himself in a team, to see himself sit with those experts in the health sector and understand the area well. And then Michael presents that and he says, I am ready to go to the next stage. We will work with Michael for 3 months between May, June, and July. At the end of 3 months, we will be bringing Michael back to the foundation and to MTN to evaluate his readiness for going into the market. And for 2 months, we will prepare successful teams for that nice, cool expert launch. And the launch is whether your idea has transformed into a commercial solution or it's still a non-profit solution. We will be bringing it to the foundation, and now we can work together with you and bring you into the market. And that's the life of a cohort. And then we're excited about the possibility of doing this all over again with another group. And so Josh, Bob, and everyone else who is on this call, join in, guys. Submit your applications before Tuesday next week. Tell a friend to tell a neighbor, to tell their in-law and their outlaw, and everyone, because we really have a program that's exciting. I look forward to reading your application.
Thank you so much, Bryan, for that detail. Maybe some of the questions that I've been seeing coming in on does one have to have, to be a computer engineer to be able to join this program? So you talked about the ICDL certificate that gives a bit of computer foundation. Maybe you can just give a little bit of the skill set in terms of you being a computer engineer and what the certification will do for you. And then subsequently, you talked about the incubation period as well. If someone already is out there thinking, oh, I'm already in business, I already have all these other skills, I just want to enter at the point of entrance of incubation. Is this something that this program will do? Or you would want someone who is wholesome, who you've journeyed with from the beginning and that you are sure of? So, Bryan?
I'll start with ICDL. So ICDL is one of our best foots forward. So as MTN, together with us, we were looking for what's the best thing on the market today that will give every participant an opportunity to get a good certificate with the most leveled skills for ICT. So that already tells you we really are committed to everyone, regardless of your background, regardless of your skill level. It doesn't matter where you're at. Our commitment is to developing and skilling you, irrespective of what you come with. So please apply. When you talk about incubation, yes, we would like to continue to strengthen the impact of the skilling program. So yes, we would like participants who have gone through the program to be among the top teams, to be among the people electing to form teams. If someone is coming from the outside, I think we can make that decision at a later point. But for now, let's get into the program. Let's get your application in. I know that there's been one or two, and I think Gabriel also asks a question about the recommendation letter.
Yes.
Like Mbasa said, we do want your recommendation letter to be about someone vouching for you, someone recommending you to the program. It could be anyone. You definitely want to make it a strong person so that your application can rank favorably. But we do want that because it says you are part of a system. You're not alone. You're not an island. And that's important to us because it shows you belong to the community in which you're coming from. But right now, the application letter is not a requirement. Complete your application. You can actually complete your application today and now without the need for a recommendation letter. We've taken that down just to be able to allow for people to express themselves and apply successfully.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I like what you just said about the recommendation, that it's a test of who you are and accountability of who you are in the community. No man is an island. So here you are trying to develop something for the community, yet you can't have someone who can attest to, your belief into the community. So I think that kind of, sets aside. So some of these things that, one of the things that you've clarified is if someone is looking at how much time do I need to give to this program? You've talked about that this will run till July. Are there any other key dates that a person should consider in their mind if they're going to put time away to dedicate themselves to this program?
That's a very good question, Rhona, and I'm sure many participants would be asking that. And so we have made this program also intentionally virtual and digital for most of the delivery. And so you can study for 8 weeks for your ICDL certificate, and you can study this from anywhere in the country. As long as you have an internet connection, you will be good to go. Our technical skills classes, which will also be online, they will run for 12 weeks. 12 weeks is about 3 months in total. And those are also going to happen online. And so again, we want to reinforce the power of digital and virtual, obviously also mindful of the restrictions around COVID recently. And so you will be able to study and remain involved in the program no matter where you are in the country. We have committed to 100 days for the incubation period. So that's about 3.5 months. That's important because the incubation phase is a lot of hard work and we need very super high commitment to this program. And so that's about another 3-month period in teams, teams that have committed and well evaluated ideas. And then we will be able to end that with about 2 months in which we prep you for going into the marketplace. So in total, the program is about 9 months, and we have just spent the last 2 months putting all the preparations in place, and we're excited that our ICDL classes will be ready as early as 15th January 2021. And we're already excited about making sure that our first cohort of participants kicks off on time, and our second cohort will be kicking off later on in the year, and we look forward to participation from across the country.
Okay, thank you so much on that. So for those that are yet to beat the deadline and about to apply, can you give me a little bit of detail in terms of where can they find information, where is the application form? And Bryan earlier on talked about the eligibility. Is there more to it other than being a 20-year-old or a 35-year-old? What other eligibility requirements are there? And anything else that someone needs to know for the application process and where?
All right, that's another good question. So we'll be able to put this in the chat, and I think one of our teammates will drop it there. But right now, you can find the application form on the main MTN website. So that's mtn.co.ug/impact, because we believe in impactful work. Another /youth-program, and then /apply. And that link might be a mouthful for some people. It will be in the chat. You can always follow. It's also on all of the posters that are coming out throughout this week and throughout last week. When you arrive on that page, you'll be able to say your name, your phone number, your email address. We're excited about your home district, and so that's a field we've added there. And of course, we're taking some of your identification. In terms of eligibility, we're looking for anyone who has a minimum diploma level education and anything higher. We're not going to restrict this program in any way. You have that, will be more than welcome. We are asking you 2 questions that will give us a sense of what your level of interest is. So the first is, what interested you to apply to this program? That's important. So only 300 words. These questions are asked so that we can learn more about who you are and your vision. And the second question is, what are your expectations? So that helps us to understand what you're expecting from the program. It will also give, the form will allow you to select your area of innovation. So that's whether you want to select agriculture or health or education or technology. And then the form gives you a small space again to briefly share or explain your idea. Any idea is welcome.
Okay.
Once you do that, you'll be able to submit the form successfully, and then everything else, we will take it from there. This program is about the foundation's commitment to skilling people, and so especially young people. And so people have asked questions about why up to 30. Is that age discrimination? No, it's not age discrimination. I think if you look at the demographics of our country, the biggest chunk, the ones whom we want to lift up, in that bracket. And the commitment is for us to go into where the need is. And that's why we've gone with that age bracket. It's not because we wanted to discriminate against anyone. We just wanted to find the place where the need is the greatest and make an impact there.
Okay, thank you so much, Bryan. You've really given a bit of detail into the program, and I want to reach out to some people who have been reaching out online. You know, we have a lot of people who are saying thank you. We have a Chris Beckham.
Yes, Chris Beckham Masiko, we see your comment. You said, thanks, guys, for seeking out young minds and talents of this country. Levi Mchunguzi, we also see your comment. This is a great idea. Thank you to MTN. Shafiq Nyanzi, personally, I have no idea, but do you need things well documented like mission and vision? Shafiq, yes. As much as you can share with us, we would like to see that. Jamil, you asked a question, does the entire program target only 100 applicants or each area? Jamil, we're running the program using cohorts, and so the first is 100, so that's the entire program. But I'm excited to let you know that we will be running multiple cohorts, and so you will not miss out at all. Kenneth Nagaba, thanks for following the conversation and already submitting your application. Good to hear. Humphrey Dembe, you've asked about if the sessions will be carried out online. Yes, we will definitely be supporting participants to experience the true power of digital. And so we'll do some of that online. Gabriel, I think I've addressed your comment around the recommendation letter. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and being a part of this session. Rhona, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bryan. So we've heard a great deal about the program, the application process, and the deadline being as next week, Tuesday, which is, I think, 22nd December, with the announcement that is going to happen on 15th January. On 15th January, we will announce those that have succeeded in the program. And this information will be shared on the website, but also each individual will be reached out to via email. My question now goes to Bryan Mbasa. With the MTN vision in mind, what will success look like for an individual and even for MTN? What is the picture of success for the person that is applying, but also for you, the corporate organization of MTN?
Thank you, Rhona. One of the things that we have been exposed to since the lockdown and the webinars is always the challenge of technology. And I think for me, this program speaks to the realities of the fourth industrial revolution. And every time I'm in a meeting and maybe something happens, I tend to say, I think the reality has come to pass. A few years ago, when we were talking about the fourth industrial revolution and we were trying to set up ICT labs in schools across the country, though it was never, the uptake was really very low. We tried a project in 2012 towards about 2016 where we were rolling out ICT resource centers in schools. And there was a time when you would go to a school and you find the computer lab dusty. No one has touched it. And so and there was a back and forth. The argument was to say, should you then think about building one new block, or should you think about setting up a computer ICT lab? That was the debate. And it was my belief, still my belief right now, that the fourth industrial revolution is here. We have been exposed. It has come out to be said that, you know what, a whole year of not studying because there couldn't be any online classes for the majority of the schools. is here. So definitely the fourth industrial revolution is coming. I just wanted to start there. In regard to how do we see success for the individual, and I would say for the individual and for the communities and for the country, MTN is really here as an enabler. And for us, what we see and what we envision is in those three areas. The first one is for the individual, really, we want to see, at least for each cohort, I want to know that with 100 people, whether they just got an ICDL certificate and dropped out, I know that someone has gotten a skill, someone has received a skill, someone has learned, someone has grown, someone has been exposed to understanding the times that we're in, what is happening, what are the technologies, and how does technology speak to what we do. There was a question about, I remember someone was asking if I'm in the health sector or if I'm a water specialist, how do I benefit out of this? It's very important for us in Uganda and Africa at large right now to start understanding that technology is not just the technology, they're doing things. And I think that is, if I was to get Bryan to really add to this, it is not so much about that you know how to code. There are very many people out there who can code and they're brilliant. But the question is that are they using that skill set to develop the community, the country, or even themselves to start with? So it comes from that element of first appreciate and understand what this technology can do, what goes into developing technology, what goes into building a business, even if it's not technology. And if you're building a business, for example, if I have a saloon and I'm part of this, I'm looking at one, how can I run my saloon better? How can I grow this saloon to become better? How can I use technology to grow this saloon? Because I mean, we have Revlon, we have so many things internationally which are all about, health and beauty, and there are some of the top companies across the world. The question is that how do you then learn how to run that? And then how do you use technology to grow it to become a global entity? Right now, Africa is part of the global outset. We're no longer just Uganda here. We have to think big outside this. So for me, that is the first one for an individual. The second element I would say would be to the community, Uganda in general. We do understand the challenges of employment. We have unemployment challenges. So the unemployment, we need to start thinking about new businesses, new workplaces, new companies that can accommodate the people that are coming out of the learning institutions. It is true that not everyone is an entrepreneur. And sometimes you need the support. It's good to work for an entity that exists and you build that entity. There's always that talk about, okay, fine, so you have been working for someone for the last 20 years. What's wrong with you? Can't you get out and start a new job? But I think you as that employee, you contributing to the ecosystem. You are paying taxes. You are earning. You're looking after your family. You're looking after. You're growing a community without necessarily having to be an entrepreneur. So what I'm saying is, as we need to start building businesses, we need people to come and start new businesses to grow their businesses that exist so that they can take on all the different youth that are out there. The more businesses we can create, the more business we can start up, the more businesses we can promote and grow and become much bigger, the more we can accommodate the current challenge of employment and unemployment. The third thing is the nation in general, and the nation and Africa in general. And this is big for us as MTN. The idea is to say, how do you transform the economy of a country? To transform all these two things that I've talked, they add up to that final goal. If you have employment, if you have businesses, if you are listed and you're creating more listed companies, you are creating shares, this brings economies, the economy starts to grow. If you are creating innovations, that are going to ensure that services, social services, are available to people. People are not falling sick, or if a person is in Koboko and can be able to have, I know there was some initiative that came up once upon a time, and what they had built was some sort of solution where you could take a picture of a blood sample from the lab. They could take the lab picture and then they would send it to a hospital in Kampala, and then the diagnosis would be made, and they would then send back the results. What that means is that your cost to operate as a health center is low, but you're able to help so many people in that same area. So for me, that creates good social services. So once we have achieved the growth among, even if the 100 dropped out after getting the certificate, they have learned something. That is one. Two, if at the end of this cohort, we're able to get entities that are going to be started, born and birthed out of this initiative, that is number two. But number three, and most important, if these two work together, and we work with government, we work with sector players, we have private entities, we have non-profits all coming in and working together, definitely we can build Uganda, we can take Uganda forward. The next time they won't say it's a youth issue, it will be called a youth opportunity, because then we'll take it out of just the country to Africa and to the world in large.
Oh, wow. That's very, very deep and big and broad, and kind of gives even the heart of what the program is, painting the picture of success. What is it that we envision to do? So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Bryan. We have two people who have shared. I see you, Bernard, online, and Joseph, you've had some challenges with your application. A team is going to reach out to you to see how you can reapply. Your details are with us, so don't worry, there's still an opportunity to rectify whatever challenge that you are facing. So it's a few minutes to the close of the session. I'm going to ask Bryan Ssenoga, what is the one thing that you want the youth listening, and we'll listen to out later on. What's that one thing that you want them to take away from this session?
Thanks, Rhona. I think for me, without a doubt, as a young person growing up in Uganda, the question is always whether it's true that companies like MTN, the big brands and all these guys, if it's truly valid and true that they support the economy and the community. And I think this program is evidence of that. And I just wish that any young person listening and wanting to be a part of this program can test this for yourself. Know that we're it's truly available for you, for everyone that's willing. And this program doesn't come to steal your ideas. This program comes to skill you. Goes to the next level. And it remains your idea, it remains a solution for a challenge in your community. I just want you to come be a part of this program, and let's grow our economy together.
Thank you so much. Bryan, Mbasa, do you have any closing remarks out there for listening?
Yeah, thank you, Rhona. Thank you, Bryan. I think this is a very interesting and very good conversation. And I think for me, the last comment I saw recently was to say, what a time to be a young person. You have opportunities that were not available to people before. Yes, they'd say that you'd come from school and get a job. However, the opportunities that are here right now are massive. They're bigger than just getting out to get a job. You have an opportunity to become a global player. You have an opportunity to learn things that people discovered when they were 40s and their 50s. So for me, I think it's a very good opportunity, and I would say there's a saying that success happens when preparation meets opportunity. I think there's an opportunity here, a very big opportunity. Those who will see it, and they will take it, and they will win. Some will see it, but they will have very many excuses, and unfortunately, they'll miss out. I implore all the youth to take all these opportunities. I always see people competing for these yearly, they call the programs, yearly programs, clean, Obama program and all those things. You find that actually almost the people who go there are the same people all the time. And the question is why?
Yeah.
It's because they have prepared themselves, they see the opportunity, and they dare to try to take those opportunities. So do not be afraid. Whatever, just as long as you have the drive, as long as you have a vision and you see where you're going. Yes, you may not be able to articulate what my mission statement or my vision statement is, but you can tell us where you're going. And I can guarantee you, once you're learning, you will learn how to articulate all these things and you will grow. You'll be very, very successful. So I ask everyone to be part of it. And I look forward to graduation, Bryan, Ssenoga. I'm looking forward to the first graduation.
All right. Thank you so much. I want to thank you all that have tuned in and those that will be watching later. I think an opportunity for you to learn, and not only learn, but to grow and also make a difference in the community. Those who will go in to apply today and you have other questions, you're able to post on our Facebook and someone will get back to you. And there is an FAQ on the MTN page where some of these questions have already been answered. But those that are interested, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Bryan, Ssenoga, and Bryan Mbasa for taking this time to come and explain and encourage more youth to apply. Have a good evening.